Oh, so Supergirl, right? The new big DC joint is now out in the world, and it is directed by Craig Gillespie, written by Ana Nogueira. It's produced by James Gunn, Peter Safran. Executive produced by Pete Chippetta, Nigel Gustello, Andrew Lowry, Chantel Nongvu, Anthony Titanegro, Lars P. Wimfer, and Alison Banks is on line production. Okay, so cinematography handled by none other than Rob Hardy, right? Claudia San is with our score. Fred Raskin and Tatiana S. Regal edit the piece. We got Lucy Bevan, Brett Howe, and Mary Vanu taking care of all the casting. Right, production design is Neil Lamont. Art direction is Alistair Bullock, Gregory Fangu, Jasper Fitzgerald, Tara Isley, Jade Lacey, Charlotte Malene, Lizzie Osborne, Alicia Scales, and James M. Spencer. Right, that's all art direction. Set direction is Lee Sanders. All right, Michael Mooney and Anna B. Shepherd handle costumes, wardrobe. We have got Mariana Altamere, Phoebe Afriaz, Melanie Ayres, Emma Bailey, Holly D. Bailey, Alessandro Balassi, Victoria Bancroft, Patrick Barbette, Aurora Beadle, Leon Clements Beale, Catherine Beck, Daljit Kubahadari, Becca Birch, Michael Brooker, Phoebe Burrow, Libby Busby, Kevin Carter, Lisa Cartledge, Ben Chalmers, Millie Chapman, Hannah Charlton, Jessica Chung, Satinda Chuma, Sion Wiles Cockley, Jake Cockley, Peter Cooper, Victoria Cottrell, Eva Cronin, Lorna Crofer, Louise Day, Jessie Diol, Zoe Disbray, Alexi Dimitru, Georgia Dudman, Joanne Dorney, Jennifer Drew, Danielle Duffy, Bethany Elise, Francesco Fabanini, Susanna Fernandez, Sophie Flynn, Haley Ford, Andreas Franz, Dixie George, Joe Grover, Oliver Hack, Ruby Hall, Susanna Harper, Lauren Rose Hawes, Chase Hayden, Jess Heath, Georgia Hubbs, Alex Holmes, Stephanie Hovett, Holly Jackson, Mark Jeffries, Chris Creaney, Tamsin Creaney, Stephanie Kemp, Peter Swords King, Shelley King, Leanne Kinney, Deborah Linsdale, and a whole lot more, right? That's hair, makeup, prosthetics, all of that jazz. Are James Young. We also have got Florian Rubin. Zach Roberts is assistant stunt coordinator. So yeah, they helped organize all the action that we saw in the film. Mark R. Mosconi is also assistant stunt coordinator, and Trajan Milanov Troy is the fight coordinator. Okie dokie. So then our cast, right? We have got Millie Alcock as Supergirl. Her parents, we have got David Krumholtz as Zor-El, her dad. Her mother is played by Emily Beecham. That's Alora Zor-El. And Imogen Turner is a younger version of Kara. Okay. So we then have got Ruthie, right? Groofy Knoll, played by Eve Ridley. Her dad, Elise Knoll, is played by Fernand Kingsley. Her mother, Delia Knoll, played by Emily Pigford. And her brother, Emond Knoll, is played by Bruce Lennox. There is Krem, our big bad, played by Matthias Schoenaerts. He's second in command of Drom Baxton, played by Diramad Mutai. Who else do we have? The Healer Woman, right? Fixing, the Healer Woman is played by Keely Forsyth. We have got, well, obviously, right? Jason Momoa is Lobo. The Doctor is played by Naomi Wivner. Sana Vran, played by Asha Sotan. We have got other members of the Brigade, right? Played by Sean Mason, Dean Nolan, Daniel Scott Smith. We have got the Redskin Skyrian Raider, played by Alice Hukin. The Purple Skin Raider, played by Heather Apapong. The Blue Raider, played by Clara Rosaga. Who else? Lumpy Alien, played by A. Leventis. The other one, played by Audrey Brison. Pub Brute, played by Will Coben. Yeah, that's basically it. You know, David Crusent, Crusweet even, turns up as Superman. And then there's Crypto the dog, right? I'm not sure who plays Crypto. But the gist of the film, Kara Zor-El, aka Supergirl, joins forces with an unlikely companion on an interstellar journey of vengeance and justice when an unexpected adversary strikes too close to home. Gist of things. And there's been a lot of talk about Supergirl, right? A lot of talk, you know. I think at one point James Gunn said it's like the best thing coming. So, you know what I mean? Like, and everyone working on it is mad talented, you know? It was introducing Lobo. It was going to do all of these different things. And we got a little glimpse of Supergirl at the end of Superman. Right? So, yeah, it was just like, oh, how will this be? Yeah, it's, I don't know. It's an odd kind of film. Right? It's very visually dark. Very dark. Which did make some of the things difficult to see. Right? So that was, yeah, it was I don't know. It's an odd choice. I don't know if it's the screen, right? Like watching it on IMAX, maybe it's brighter, or, you know, I don't know. Not sure, people, to tell you the truth. But yeah, there was some bits were hard. Right, now we've got these people, the Brigade, right, which is an all-male race, and they kidnap girls to, you know, continue the species, as it were. Does seem like an odd situation, but, you know, only men are born, I suppose. Right? So there's this whole thing, right? This whole incident that leads to some of the adventure that's going on in the film, right? And there's a girl left. And the Brigade leave. And even knowing, right, even before knowing that they kidnap girls to breed, you were just like, hold on. If these dudes are coming in, doing all of this, they ain't gonna leave a girl on her J's. Also, she's in a nightwear, right? So people like that, I mean, they're not good people. You know what I mean? They did what they did. So the notion that they would just leave a girl was just kind of like, I can't buy that. You know what I mean? It's just like, whoa, what's going on here? So that was weird. Also, like, the biggest thing, the first thing I thought watching this film, Crypto is nasty. Right? This dog is peeing all over the ship. I'm just like, yo, how is that dog not, you know what I mean, ship trained, right? Like, because that place is gonna stink. You know what I mean? You might be messy, but you don't want dog piss all over the place. That is, and I'm sure it's probably gonna be corrosive, and you're gonna have issues with, you know, rusty ships and components frazzling and whatnot. You know what I mean? I was like, yo, what? And that was, I think, you can say someone is messy and blah, 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 but sometimes things are a little over the top. And just the notion of the dog pissing all over the place, that felt a little over the top. A little bit like, I can't buy into that. Right? I can't buy into that. So, yeah, I mean, that was the first big takeaway from this film. Like, yo, someone needs to send that dog to the farm. To the, you know what I mean? There's some nasty ass dog right there. But yeah, so the bad guys, I didn't quite. Now, maybe if you're a DC diehard, the Brigade or, you know, a group that have shown up, right? So you understand what they do, their powers, because they're kind of like surviving a lot of shit. You know what I mean? Like, I feel getting punched by a super person. Yeah, you're not just picking yourself up. But the Brigade seem to be taking it kind of simply, you know, which is, yeah, a bit weird, right? Bit weird. Not sure I can buy into all of that. So we have that kind of thing going on. Like, I think as soon as this whole incident happens, you kind of know where this film is going, right? You know where the film is going, and you're like, okay. You know, we kind of have this thing of Kara trying to stop Ruthie from doing a thing, right? Which is all fair. But you know how this ends, right? I don't think anyone's watching this film going, oh, I think, you know what I mean? You know exactly how this will end, and it ends in that way, right? Story-wise, it's not that deep, right? It's not a deep story. And you do kind of go, ay. Right? Because even the Lobo introduction, again, feels very flimsy. Right? Lobo's existence in this film, it doesn't really feel like there's a lot of substance behind it. You know? Doesn't feel like it makes a whole lot of sense. I don't know what the Lobo character is. Right? I've heard of Lobo, obviously. He kind of feel, I might be wrong. He kind of feels like he's their Deadpool in a way. But it just, yeah, it didn't really feel like he was adding anything to this. I mean, listen, these are just my thoughts, you feel me? I'm sure there's a whole heap of people being like, yes, this is exactly the film I wanted. Which is, boom, that's great. That's great. I want people to enjoy shit. You know what I mean? It's good that there will be something for everyone out there. But for me, it just felt, we have this very flimsy film. It's very dark, right? Even the notion that the bad guys know she's a Kryptonian. How would you come to that conclusion? I don't know how you come to that conclusion. You know what I mean? Because there's not, all the Kryptonians are dead, as far as we know, right? And the way core like Supergirl and her peoples, the way everyone survives, it's just the notion of kryptonite. Because I'm just like, who knows about kryptonite? This is the thing that, this seems to be a bit wishy-washy. Like, who knows? Do Kryptonians know about? I don't know, because the whole escape and everything, you kind of go, okay, if you know about this thing, then surely you, yeah. I don't know. There's these weird things, you know, like, yeah, I mean, there's stuff that is weird that you just can't get into. Don't want to ruin the film, right? But yeah, there's just a lot going on. But the framing of it is kind of non-existent. You know what I mean? Kind of non-existent. Right? The Ruthie character, again, it's not very deep. It's not very deep. Because it's one of those things, right, where you go, there's going to be moments where they'll be like, stay here. And obviously, she's not going to stay there. But it's just like, what are you intending to do? Because it kind of seems that you can't really do anything. I think with something like this, there needs to be stakes. And there needs to be these believable stakes. Right? Like, because we know Superman can beat up basically everyone. And if Cora is, from the same, but she's basically the same. I don't really know a whole heap about Supergirl. And I feel they've got the same powers. Right? So surely she can beat up everyone in the same way, which then takes away the belief that how could she be in danger? Right? There needs to be a peril. There needs to be an understanding that the threat is a threat. And that's where I struggled with this. There's a lot of subtitles. Wasn't expecting that. A lot of subtitles. They're yellow. The subtitles are yellow in this. No solid background. So difficult. I have no real clue what was going on in the subtitled moments. Sometimes I try and ask someone, but there's no one really, that I could. So yeah, I'm baffled by some of this. And there's some bits where people, talk a different language and then they talk English. And you're just like, okay, why would you go back and forth? You know what I mean? Yeah, it's an odd film. Oh, I should point out there is no end of credit zinger, sequence. So don't bother waiting around. Okay? You're not gonna, there's nothing to see. So yeah, don't bother with any of that. I feel this is for the Supergirl fans, right? If you know the character, love the character, you know what I mean? I don't know if you like the CW series and just all. If that was your thing, then maybe you have a better understanding and get what's going on. Because yeah, I was a little baffled. And because there didn't seem to be that much of a consequence, it was hard to feel invested, right? Like, listen, with Superman, it's like the sun gives him back his power, can rejuvenate him. But what does that do when it, comes to kryptonite? I don't really know. You know what I mean? So yeah. There's things going down that just feel a stretch. Just feel like it don't make sense. Right? Just feel very flimsy. But that may be my ignorance of the character and the character's lore. So I think if you're a big fan, Supergirl may very well work really, really well for you. So yeah, it's out in the cinemas. I think just try and go in with an open mind. Without expectations. And I think that could help. Right? Any perceived judgment, I think that's going to hamper your ability to enjoy this. So yes, people, Supergirl is out. I think it's Swamp Thing next, right, in October. But yeah, it's still not really met a DC film I really enjoy, which is such a shame. Such a shame. But yeah, Supergirl.